Wait for him to get up. Okay, so we're going to do a big pull at the start. Please don't die in the opener. Please don't die in the opener. So the only downfall when it comes to Death Knights, I think, at the start. It takes them a little while to build up their runic power, and after that they're generally fine. Oh, don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die. There we go. Spirit Link saves the day. That didn't go too bad. Already they had to commit one kill now. Okay, so Gatekeeper's going to be a lot of AoE in this pack. Defensives are a lovely thing as soon as it's casting this Wrath channel. There we go. As long as we kick the Necrotic bolts in between the AoE, it's quite easy to keep everyone topped up. A bit of spell. Here comes the next AoE. We'll cover this with Healing Tide Totem. Well, that could have been a whole lot worse. See, when you finally get used to healing Death Knight tanks, if a good Death Knight knows what he's doing, it's still a bit of a heart attack, because sometimes the health pings all over the place. Generally, if they've got runic power and bone shield up, they're fine. Otherwise, whoops! Someone grabbed the spear. Yep, someone got it. Alright. Most normally, head straight for the boss now. We're going to clear extra and start up here. Again, the normal casts that go off, I'll be looking to kick Drain Fluids, which is channeled on one person, and it will stun that person for the duration. Later on, when we get past the second boss, there will be another cast that's done called Gore Splatter, which is a group-wide AoE damage. I'll talk more about it when we get closer. Oh, just engaged the boss, alright. Interesting. Normally there's more of a heads up. When it comes to this boss here, one person will be targeted with the debuff. If they turn it away from the group and use a defensive, I think if I got the defensive part, it's only one person that takes a dot and it's easy to out-heal. It spawns 3 worms, as long as we AoE those down. They should die nice and quick and give us plenty of room. As a tank here, the best bet is making sure there's plenty of room behind, so that the person with the debuff can move behind. Again, we're going to slow the adds so that people can make sure they don't get meleeed by them. Anyone that gets meleeed by the worms take a big chunk of damage, as you've just seen on the Shaman. And it's normally not easy to get out-healed. But if you're too close to the pools behind, we can't go behind them. As you just seen the Shaman rage, it becomes difficult with the debuff. Again, slowing the worms and stunning them. The general rule of thumb here is just making sure that you focus down the worms when they spawn. Again, there's going to be one person marked with the debuff, as long as you move that just behind the boss. No one else should get hit with the dot. Okay, it's on the hunter again. I'm going to slow the adds. The main aim is not to get hit by the global of the ads. That could have been a bit smoother, but I have seen worse. %, we're quite low on count unless he intends to clear everything else on the way. Normally I try and have around about 29 to 30% here. Now in this pack, focus down the Necromancer, but try and make sure you get a priority kick on the Mage for Frostbolt Volley. As long as that one is interrupted, the group doesn't take a big burst of damage. One person gets marked with Grim Fate, which is essentially just arm healing on that one person and making sure that we kick the Frostbolt Volley. If the two of them overlap, as you just seen, one person normally dies. Or more. This next pack here, you want to make sure someone kicks the Marauder and do not face it towards the group as he cleaves. The Marauder will fear. And I'll focus the kick on the Necrotic Bolt from the Sorcerer. This isn't actually as bad as I thought playing without add-ons. I was expecting worse. It's nasty not being able to see the group and their cooldown usage. So you're almost at the mercy of hoping players know when to pop stuff. Did someone pick up the arrow? Yep, they did. Make sure you avoid the green swirlies in this pack. And kick what you can when you can. If you get hit with any of those green swirlies, it pretty much one-shots you. Now I like to, as the healer, grab this anima. Someone else grabbed it. I like to have one of the anima charges for the next boss. That way you can prioritise the first spawn of ads, either using the Death Knight's Abomination Limb to grip them all in, or using the weapons. In this case the anima orb, which will silence any of the mobs. But now we're at the mercy of the group as to when they're going to use it. So fingers crossed. They really hit that tank quite hard. As you've seen there, if you don't get the kick, anyone caught within the range will be cleared. Again, because of the last time, I'm going to focus kick the mage's Frostbolt Volley, because that was causing problems for the group. Of course, that's when someone else kicks it as well. That was a wasted kick, I'm afraid. As long as someone gets it, it's better than no one. I'm getting the kick on the circle mob, making sure that none of the Frostbolt volleys go off. The Druid's going to take a big burst of damage here. Now the individual frostbolt casts from the mage mobs don't matter too much, but the frostbolt volley definitely does. As experienced.
Your ascension is complete.
As soon as I can, I'll revive him. Oh, never mind. We're in combat. Again, I'll get the Necrotic bolt. And hoping that the tank is going to get the fear. His health is spiking quite badly. As I said at the beginning, Death Knight tank healing, it's a heart attack in its own. They're made of definitely different stuff. Oh! Alright, what happened there was the melee got cleaved by the Marauder. And that's why it's so important that you turn the Marauder away from the group. I don't really want to go in here just in case. But I have to make sure that Xanath's affix gets dealt with as quickly as possible. There's a slight bit of RP here. As a healer, if you run up to the edge, you can have the NPC starting to talk. It means the boss will be active by the time we finish this.
Deny me the sky, then I shall answer in kind.
Foolish Paragon! There is nothing you can do to stop us.
Just make sure you avoid the swirlies and then move out of the effect that the mini boss does. I suppose it is more like a lieutenant mini boss.
Your ascension is complete.
Perfect timing for Xanath's affix and the beginning of the boss. Now I'll make sure I prioritise kicking Amarth with the tank, and the group needs to make sure they focus down that interrupts the frostbolt volley from the mage. There's going to be two mages that spawn, they take priority, and as a tank you want to be moving the boss and the mages over towards the crossbowman. That's the only NPC here that does not move. And if you have a D enrage, it's lovely to use on the boss, because time to time the boss will start to enrage. Avoid the frontal breath that comes out. And after this breath, he's going to do swirlies on the ground that you must make sure you do not stand in. If you're standing in the swirlies, you will die. If there are any NPC ads left alive as he's doing his cast there with the green swirlies, you have to make sure you use a hard CC on the ad. Let's see what happens with managing these in the group. Oh, that was really, really rough. Again, avoiding the breath as it comes out. And if there's any mobs left alive, they must be hard CC'd or they will explode as these green swirlies from Final Harvest happens. I must say that is quite the relief. That is normally where pugs disband. Very, very rough boss for pugging. Sorry about that, I'm just shaking my flask. There we go. Alright, the Corpse Collector here does two casts. One is the stun that we've seen earlier, Drain Fluids, and the other one is Gore Splatter, which is a group-wide damage that must be interrupted by anyone who can. And we've got two Corpse Collectors now, so just make sure that we kick Gore Splatter as soon as it's cast, and there's no group-wide damage. That's likely your only thing that will wipe you on these ones, because the Drain Fluid can simply be CC'd as soon as it's cast. But because I've already stunned, I'm going to have to use Thunderstop to get these. There we go. And so far so good. Again, Corpse Collector, Calm and Focus for the Gore Splatter. One person will be marked here with an arrow. Your aim here is to try and make sure that you aim it towards one of the mobs so that they're in the path of the NPC that marks you with an arrow. That way the mob will take the damage. This is especially important for the next few packs. Again, one person's marked with an arrow. They'll be moving in the path of the NPCs. That way the enemy mobs take the hit. I'm going to help the tank out here with a slow, just so he can let his tenderized stacks fall. I'm going to put the Corpse Collector on, focus again. Interrupt the Gore Splatter. And normally we pull the other pack to the right here at the same time, but we have got plenty of time, another 14 minutes and only 2 bosses. We've got time to do this. Again, kicking the Gore Splatter, don't want that to go off. This pack doesn't do too much. The Flesh Crafter from time to time will do Repair Flesh, which simply just needs interrupted. Here we go, Repair Flesh, kick it. Because that's a channeled heal on the creations, the big mobs here. After this, 2 mobs are going to appear in the centre. They will do the arrows. Your aim here is to make sure if you've got marked arrow, you run through the other mob. Hopefully I can demonstrate that for you here. So 2 people will be marked and they must move through, or the tank must help them. Because it does a lot of damage to the NPCs. Now it's going to be Morbid Fixation on one person, which simply means they must kite the mob away, and then after that it's going to be the throw again. They'll try and aim to make sure that the throw goes through the other NPC and helps kill them down. When there's only one left, it's the tank's role to make sure that they stand in front of the hit. There'll be 2 more packs, one here and one over there, and then we'll have the boss. This pack is just blast the mobs down and avoid the frontal. The next one, if you're close to the next big lieutenant mob, he does, it's a passive AoE that anyone close to it will take ticking damage. It's just a healer check that they must out heal the damage. Gut Slice is the frontal. Just make sure you don't get hit by it. As long as you're aware of that frontal as DPS, you can just set your mind to 0 and blast it. Oh, no, he's not going to have a mob to hit, so quickly help top the Death Knight up. One person will be targeted with an effect that spawns a poison puddle below them. you can generally see how it's going to be on, and as a healer you can preempt the heal. So it's going to be on, in this case, the Shaman. You don't want to be standing in that any longer than you have to. He's going to target someone else with it. It's going to be the tank. And now you just slowly kite it around the edge of the room. You don't want to be standing in the middle, because the boss happens straight after this. There we go, it's going to be on the Druid. It doesn't do too much damage, but it will start ticking you down very, very quickly if you stand in it. This is the boss fight. All the same effects you just seen will happen. The puddle on the floor, and one person will be marked with an arrow. When they get marked with an arrow, they must aim it from the NPC to the boss on the platform. As you can just see demonstrated, it will appear, then it will lock in position, and then you have to sidestep. And from here, you just DPS down the boss. The next arrow will happen, and you try and make sure that the tank moves the NPC in the path of the boss, which will stop the fixation on one member as well. Because every time the boss is gripped, it will negate the morbid fixation and allow the DPS to keep damaging. Hopefully I've timed that right. There we go. If you time it right, you can tell that the boss was still down, but was soon going to be jumping back up. So the second arrow that comes out, you can aim it up to where the boss will be and intercept it. So again, it's on me. I'm going to make sure the boss is in the path. Morbid fixation, grip, and it's negated. It just stops one of the boss mechanics and makes it easier for everyone to keep DPSing. Again, it's going to be on me. It's the second one, so I'm going to aim it. And the boss would have jumped away, and it would have instantly hit the boss back down again. And now we're on the last boss. Every time the boss casts a shield, there's going to be pulsing group wide damage. One person will be sent down to deal with a mob down the bottom here. And there will be one person marked at the top, which you have to dispel. It's going to be on me. I'll make sure no one else is near me, and then I'll dispel. The last effect is essentially just Comet Storm, which is don't stand still, and slowly kite out the effect on the floor, and make sure you don't kill anyone. So the hunter's getting sent down the bottom to deal with one NPC. When they come back up, it's best if they move to an edge or a corner, because as soon as he's back up, he will drop an effect on the floor. Let's see if I can demonstrate that when the hunter comes back up. There we go. That's on the Shaman. I need to make sure the tank moves away, and then I'll dispel it. Do not instantly dispel, because Comet Storm comes soon after. Like, the hunters just came back. Well, and he's away again. Never mind. And that's how much damage the Comet Swirl will do to you. And that was simply one tick. You do not want to get hit with more than one at the most. The hunter came back up, and that was the effect that happens a few seconds after he's back up. So as long as you're near an edge, it gives you more space to move. Again, Comet Storm. The Shaman's getting sent down the bottom, so it's his turn to deal with the at. Frozen Binds on me, that's to dispel. Make sure no one's in my circle, and dispel. The Druid done that really well with his circle. It's going to be Comet Storm. Again, avoid the swirls. And then when he puts his shield up, I'm going to drop Spirit Link to make it a little bit easier for the next effect. Going to be on the hunter. I need to make sure the Death Knight moves. And that was a lovely kill. And that took me over 2700, so I'm really happy with that.